Hello, good evening, everyone. How are you today? Welcome to today's webinar on setting smart goals for your career, a session designed to equip you with strategies for setting clear, actionable goals to drive your professional success. My name is Rachel Mali, and I'm thrilled to be a moderator for today's session. We have a real treat today for you guys because we are joined by an expert in the field. So before we dive in, let me briefly introduce ADMI. So Africa Digital Media Institute is a creative media and technology training institute, and we work to give Africa's creatives the training, the mentorship, and the platform they need to turn their passion into a profession. So we have courses like film and TV production, 2D animation, digital marketing, multimedia certificate course, animation, sound engineering, music production, entertainment business, among others. So to ensure we have a smooth experience throughout the session, please remember to keep your microphones on mute to minimize any background noise. Then if you have any questions or comments, kindly feel free to use the chat function anytime. Just use the chat function. If you have a comment, drop it there and we will address it. Your engagement will be very important to us. So leading us through this enlightening, exciting session is none other than a distinguished professional, Shiko Munuku, a soft skills trainer and a career coach.
Good to see everybody. Welcome today to our webinar where we're going to talk about setting smart goals and why that is important. One of the things that we have had this phrase before: failing to plan is planning to fail. I'm sure you've all had that. But before we go on, I'd like you guys, the people who have joined us, to please just let me know, what are your expectations today? When you hear smart goals, what comes to mind? Just type in the chat and we'll be able to see. What are your expectations this evening? Let's see. Oh, good to see. I see some names that are very familiar. Hey, Modesta, good to see you. Welcome, James. Welcome, Kennedy. Welcome, Stephen. Welcome, V. So let me see from the chat, what are your expectations this evening? What are because when you had setting smart goals for your career, what came to mind? What did you think about? What did you think about when you thought about that? Because we want to set smart goals. Looking in the chat, I'm looking forward to see what you have, so that we are moving in the same direction. When you hear smart goals, what comes to your mind? Or just goals, what comes to your mind? Yeah, please use the chat and we'll be able to see it. Rachel, let me know if you can see anything there in the chat. Setting smart goals for our career. So let's see. Anybody with something? What comes to mind? There's nothing right or wrong, just whatever you feel. Hey Elvis, hey Edna, hey McKenna, hey James. You're welcome. You're all welcome. Hey Victor Isika, another familiar name. You're welcome. Hi Marcy. You're welcome. Right. So okay, somebody here has even almost done my whole presentation. Stephen, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time bound. V says the sort of goals I can measure and track, holding myself accountable. I love that. Yes. Let's see some more. What other ones? And indeed, you're really in the right direction, isn't it? Because it's important to set goals for our lives and our careers. If you live life on autopilot, I assure you, the years will come and go, and then you have very little to show for what you have done with your time. Remember, time is an expendable resource. And therefore, the time we have in the workplace, which actually becomes a third of our lifetime, is an extremely important time. And therefore, we cannot just coast through it. We need to be setting goals. Now this year is and about to end. I don't know for you, has the year gone as fast as it has for me? It feels like it was January, then it was June, now we're in November. It has gone so fast. And I don't know if you had set some goals for this year. Please type in the chat if you had set some goals, or you can, just virtually raise your hand to show you had set some goals this year. And how has that gone? The year has really, really gone fast for me. I think it means I've been very busy, but also that there's been a lot to do, and I am looking at the goals I set at the beginning of the year and then seeing I have between now and the end of December. And remember, December, most businesses start to shut down by the 15th, you know. So you really, really need to be very um, careful, because if you don't take charge of your life and your career, then other people will. So it's important for us to discuss how to set smart goals for our careers and our lives as well. You know, everybody I believe everybody comes to earth for a purpose, everybody comes to earth for a reason and for a season. No matter how long we live, our lives are really just a small fraction of eternity. We are here for a season. And that season is time, is within time. Therefore, if we're within time, it becomes so important that we're utilizing our time well. We are utilizing our time in such a way, as much as we're serving others, that we are also ensuring that we serve ourselves. I don't know about you, but when you are so busy, if you ever get so busy, especially once you have a career, oh, I can see I think there was a lag, because I'm beginning to see the beautiful contributions. A smart goal is clear, focused, and structured. Yes, McKenna, to attain a certain objective, expectations. Okay, how to effectively plan? How do I prioritize my plans? Then how to organize the plan. Lastly, what makes one be disciplined on the plans made? Very good. Thank you for that. Mercy, someone will respond to you on that online, because that may not be something I'll tackle at the beginning. All right. So now, setting our goals is extremely important. Let me say this. I have seen what life looks like when you're just on autopilot, just paying the bills, going to work, paying the bills. Those of us that have families, taking care of your family responsibilities, those who have friends, taking care of that. Sometimes some of us are committed to religious organizations, taking care of, different things. You're in the member of this club, you're the member of that and the other, and you just go through life without really planning and having a goal as to what you want. And so what ends up happening is that you lose something called the power of focus. And as I introduce today's topic, I want to talk about that. That whatever it is that you will focus on the most will be what will produce the most in your life. What you focus on the most becomes the thing that produces the most in your life and career. So when you lack focus, two things can happen. One, there's a first danger, which is you focusing on the wrong thing. Because I've said, whatever you focus on the most is what will produce the most in your life. Now, this then means there are two dangers. The first danger is focusing on the wrong thing. If you focus on negativity, focus on negative thoughts, focus on negative people, focus on that, that begins to produce negativity in your life. And negativity drains you. It drains your energy. It drains you. But now, when you focus on the right thing, they now energize you. And our goals are supposed to give us something to focus on. But let me tell you something else. Another danger that can be there is focusing on nothing. Focusing on nothing. If you're focusing on nothing, meaning you're running around like a headless chicken, helter-skelter. This person needs this one needs this, that one needs this, my boss needs this. My friend needs this. My church needs this. My mosque needs this. I mean, you are running around doing this, doing that, and the other, and you're focused on nothing for yourself. The years come, the years go, and when you now begin to get a little older, you look and you ask yourself, what have I achieved for myself? So I'll throw this in here. Nobody will carve out time for you to develop yourself. Nobody will carve out time for you to do personal development things. If you don't carve it out yourself, nobody will. Remember, there are so many demands on our time, so many demands on our lives. And therefore, if we don't stop and say, okay, where am I headed? Where am I going? How do I get there? Then it means then you can have a life where it's like you're just on a treadmill. A lot of activity, no progress. You're not moving nowhere. You know, you're tired. My goodness, you even go through burnout, but you're going nowhere. The year has come, the year has ended, no progress. That is not our portion. That is not something we want for ourselves. So really, really, it is so important for us to then have a focus. And when you have a focus now, that is when goal setting comes in. Because you already have a big picture. You have a vision for your life. You have a vision for your career. There is what you want to achieve. And let me say this, especially to the East Africans, don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to dream. You know, I'll say this, one of the things I've noted is that many of us, because of what the times we're living in, the economic times we're living in, we really begin to minimize our goals. We begin to minimize our dreams. But I want to encourage you, please do not allow your present circumstances to determine the size of your vision. Do not allow your present circumstances to determine the size of your dream and of your goal. So, that said, that being our foundation, we have said it is important for us to have a vision. Please allow me now, I will want to share my screen, but just give me a minute. I hope we're all together in what I have said, the importance of having focus, you know, and the power of focus. So the thing you're focusing on the most is the one producing the most in your life. And in every phase, it will be different things. In every phase, it will look different. But surely there should be fruit for every season. There should be some fruit from 2024. There should be some fruit from all the labor of 2024. And now we must ensure we have good focus so that in 2025, by this time, we can be able to look back and see the fruit of our SMART goals. So this is very, very important. Okay, all right. So are we all together? If you're with me in the chat, say yes. If you agree on the importance of us having goals. Are we together? Very good. So give me a minute. All right. Thank you, Elvis. Thank you, Dennis. Yes, James. Very, very good. The power of focus. So, so, so important. Because if you do not focus, if you have no focus, and you're just going through life on autopilot, at the end of time, at the end of the year, you have nothing to show. Now, let's talk a little more now about, okay, we've agreed. We need to have focus. We need to have a sense of direction. Where are we headed? We need to ensure that it is on point. So allow me now to share my screen as we take it further. So please let me know once you can see my screen. I hope you're good. Are you able to see it? I can on this side.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so we want to then say goal setting. And why are we setting these goals? Now, as you've heard, my name is Shukumunuku. I have had a journey. I have had a journey in the corporate sector. I have had a journey now in education. and in training, specifically soft skills training and career coaching. And I have also had, of course, the other side, which is now me as a creative. But now, all these amazing things about me, all these amazing things about you, they have to be channeled in such a way that you have a plan that motivates you, that drives you. Somebody has asked, how do I know what is that thing that for me is should be my first area of focus, that I should give most of my energy? And I want to say self-awareness really is the bedrock of vision, which is from where we then now set our SMART goals. You need to be clear about what is this thing that you want to achieve per season of your life. Now, we want all of us to be people of vision and people who not only have vision for just a big picture, but even for our careers. Where do you see yourself in that career? And so for us to be able to feel that big, beautiful vision we have for our career, our families, our lives, we must be able to come up with practical steps that move us closer and closer to achieving our dreams. And these practical steps are the ones we are calling the SMART goals. And why is goal setting important, as I said? One, goals provide direction and focus for us, which I've just discussed and said this is extremely important if you're going to have any form of progress or impact. Secondly, they increase our motivation, isn't it? When you have a goal, you have a reason to get up and keep going. You are driven when you have a goal, but when you don't, then you find yourself really just, laissez-faire kind of lifestyle. So goals increase our motivation and accountability. Very, very important. What else? Goals help us to measure progress and success. How will you know when you have succeeded? And effective goal setting enhances productivity and decision making. So these are reasons why it's important for us to be having this discussion about setting goals. You need direction, you need focus in life. One of my mentors says that if you don't know where you're going, any bus will take you there. So it is important to know where you're going. And then also, there'll be times in life where you need motivation. Like during the economic times we're in, I assure you, you need motivation to keep going, not to remain hopeful. And so goals then therefore enhance your motivation. But let me also say accountability. When you have a goal, you can be able to say, okay, Shiko, this is how much time you've had. These are the resources you've had. What do you have to show for it? You can be accountable for your resources and your time. You measure your progress and success, and then also it enhances our productivity at work and even in our decision making. Because there are some things you'll say no to because this is going against the goal I have set. So, what are SMART goals? SMART goals, and I'd like you to be noting down somewhere. SMART goals are goals which are specific, they are measurable, they are achievable, they are relevant, and time bound. So for us to say that is a SMART goal, what should we see? One, it should be specific. It should be clear, no ambiguity. What exactly are we doing? Very clear. You who is the one who has written the goal, you should know where to start. Just by reading your goal, this is exactly what I want to achieve. This is what I'm doing. The goal needs to be measurable, because there's no point of saying, I want to be a success. How does that exactly look? What is a success? How will you measure it? What is that thing you're saying? It needs to be measurable. You should be able to track your progress and determine when the goal has been achieved. We don't want to just be doing things. As I said, it's like running on a treadmill. Yes, it's great for exercise, but not great for progress if you want forward movement, isn't it? So we need to ensure that we have setting goals that are measurable. How will that goal be measured? How will you know you have succeeded at it? When? So you need to set goals that you're able to actually measure. So, achievable, very important. Achievable is the same as realistic, is the same as attainable. You know, your goal needs to be something that you can actually achieve within the current resources you have and time frame you have set. You know, you cannot climb if you're going up a staircase, unless you want an accident, you won't put one foot on the bottom stair and then the next one at the very top and expect to reach where you are going. You're setting yourself up for an accident. You need to be able to ensure that you're taking it step by step. Life is in phases, and vision unfolds over time and over phases, in phases, phase by phase, step by step. Sometimes people don't start things because they want to do everything at a go, and achieve everything immediately. Huh? I set a goal and I say, this year I must have done ABC, but I have not checked. Where am I now? What resources do I have at my disposal? I like to say this when I talk about vision. Now, you will not be able to achieve a vision unless it is realistic and is one you will be able to start small. You need to be able to start small. And the thing you're starting small with needs to be something that's in your hands. Something in your hands, something within your reach. Something in your hands and something within your reach. The thing you will use to attain that goal, or it needs to be, first of all, something within your hands, something I can use my gifts, my talents, my skills, my knowledge, and within my reach, my connections, my relationships, my networks, and my opportunities. It is not something that's dependent on what somebody else will do for me. My vision is not dependent on my partner, my parents, my country. It is dependent, first of all, on what do I have in my hand. If you set a goal that is 100% dependable on somebody else, including God, for those of us who are people of faith, and 100% is depending on God, nothing on you, that is an irresponsible goal. Isn't it? It needs to be something, first of all, that's realistic. Now, for vision and dreams, we are dreaming big, 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 big. But after that, we must calm down and start small and set the small and come up with the practical steps, small ones, step by step. I will do this, and this will lead to this, and then I'll step on this. Think of it like climbing up staircase, one step after the other, one step after the other. Steady, consistent progress. Steady, consistent progress. The two words are important. It needs to be steady and then it needs to be consistent. The goal should be realistic. It needs to be attainable from where you are. That when other people are coming in to help you, you have already started. Let me tell you something. People like things that are moving. Even people for investment. People want to invest in something that has started, that's already moving, that already has legs, that has some forward motion, even for your goals. You need to ensure you look and be realistic. Now, for you to be realistic, two things must be in place. Number one, self-awareness. Self-awareness. Who are you? Where are you at in your life? What are your strengths? And then what are you passionate about? Be realistic. Know yourself. Where are you at? Don't set goals that are for your make-believe persona. This is for you, the real you. What do you have? Who are you right now? The education you have, the knowledge you have, the experience you have. All those things will play into the success of your goal. It needs to be something that is already anchored and you having been very clear on self-awareness. But apart from self-awareness, the other thing is research. You need to research. You need to know, if I want to go to America today and I want to relocate there and live there, surely I must do some research. I must be able to research and understand what is required for me to do these things so that I can be able to now come and see, Do I have the resources? And if not, how will I get them? You must do your research about, you say you want to move from this particular position to this other position in your organization. You must at least do the research to know what are the qualifications of that particular position you want to move to. And then what are also the responsibilities of somebody in that role you want to move into? And then look at yourself. If you don't have the qualifications, how can I start getting the qualifications I need to be able to qualify for this position? It is something you can get if you will do some research. Research, first of all, research as far as self-awareness, know yourself, and secondly, research as far what you want. So we need to ensure that we are being realistic, that the goal we are setting is attainable, having considered where we are at, who we are, and what our desire is. I hope we are together. Then after that, it needs to be relevant. Relevant. The goal should align with your career objective and your long-term vision in life. Currently, where I'm at in life, I can say this for certain. If I come and my goals for next year, I write down, I want to become a neurosurgeon. Let me tell you, I have not only lied to myself, I have lied to everybody else. One, research should have told me it takes a long time, minimum 8 years at least, to even start the qualification that would allow me now to study for neurosurgery, that aspect of medicine. Huh? Then, if I know myself well, I know my academic qualifications did not position me in a place that would allow me to thrive in medical school. Huh? Then, when I look at what I want to achieve in my long-term vision, medicine has nothing to do. Huh? It has nothing whatsoever. Huh? Then, when I look even at my own personal goals in life, it's not there. That is not a relevant goal. It is not smart. It should not be there. So you need to, first of all, be very clear about purpose and where you're at in your life. Who are you really? Because that is the person you should be setting the goals for. And they need to be relevant to your long-term vision and also bring it down to the career objectives. So sit down. I want you to please, after today, call yourself to a meeting and sit down with yourself and make sure you see clearly where you want to go with your career. I'll say this because I know here we have a mixed audience. Some people have been in the workplace for some time, and maybe you're a bit jaded because now you're just trying to keep a job because because of the situation in the economy, and you're just trying to get a paycheck so that you can take care of your bills because you have demands. But I want you to do a refresher. Go back to that place when you believed the impossibility was that what is now looking like an impossibility was possible. Go back and look at yourself and see where you started and that picture you had when you started your career. It should have evolved, but there needs to be something to ignite again the belief that it is possible again. Start up those career objectives and begin to set goals that are relevant. Now that you are more experienced, have more knowledge, have more light, you will set a goal that is relevant. It needs to be time bound. If there is no deadline, really does something get done? You know that thing you say, one day I'll do this, one day I'll do this, one day is no day. Somebody is normally nobody. You have to say, I will do it by this date. The creative side of me is I am a singer and songwriter. And for a long time, I kept saying, one day I'll go back to the studio and work on my music. One day I'll go back. Maybe I'll go back. And the years kept coming and going, kept coming and going. The only day I only got some forward movement when I said, this year, by August, I will go back to the studio and re-record at least 2 singles. Let me tell you something. When I did that, I did. And when I did that, my eyes opened and I started to see people who could help me achieve this particular goal. I actually realized part because I did a live recording, the people who did, whether it's the lady on the drums, the gentleman on the keys, on the guitars, both acoustic and bass guitar, all of them were people somewhere in my network And they could only begin to produce for me. That network could only produce for me because I had set a goal with a deadline. I remember because one of my colleagues then I was doing this recording in his studio, and he was the one who was a mixing engineer and mastering engineer and recording engineer. And I remember telling him, when he seemed to delay a little bit before giving me the mastered music, I said, no. Oh, that cannot end. This year, I have to have it. You see? So when there's a timeline, there's motion. But this timeline and deadline needs to align with clear, well-researched timeline. Because you could actually be saying by this time, I'll do it. But if you had not set these goals, if you had not done your research, you set unrealistic timelines. Somebody now will tell us by this time next year, I'll be a millionaire. And I say it is possible. But the only way you will convince me it's possible is if we can come back now and sit and you show me how are you going to create value worth millions for other people that will pay you either at a go or cumulatively for you to enter that value of millionaire. If you have no plan to create this value, then unless you're a thief or a fraudster, there is no way by this time next year you will be a millionaire. Timeline, not realistic. Research was poor, and the what are you doing today? So where you're at today in your career, surely you must be able to show us what is this thing you intend to do to move you from where you are to the next stage. You need to be clear. This is the role I want. All right? Don't worry if somebody's there. We're not wishing them ill because we're wishing them well. Even them, they'll be promoted to the next one. So if that is the role you want, you must come back and look at yourself as what do I have that would qualify me, gives me a good foundation to build qualifications towards that role. If I worked in a medical institution, and I was doing marketing for them, and I decide I want to move from marketing to now be a doctor, surely that's not going to work for Shiku as far as self-awareness. Because one, am I ready to do 8 years of medical school? Unless I can show myself, okay, I have the educational foundation and academic strength that will support me now going to get the qualifications for medicine so that now I can be able now to apply for this role having earned my degree in medicine. So the career you want, I want us to take a moment for you to stop and ask yourself, what can I do right now to start moving forward towards that particular goal? Set what is the goal you want for your career? You know, this year is almost gone, but you see, we're going to start counting from here to next year this time. There's something I want to say, you know, it's only a new year if something changes. Otherwise, between 31st December and 1st January 2025 and December 2024, nothing is different. The year is only new if you're new. If you do something new to make it new, it will be same old. So set a goal, right? Think about it. We want it to be specific. We want it to be measurable. It needs to be achievable, attainable, realistic. If we are not fantasizing, we are goal setting. We are setting goals that are relevant because we have taken time to picture where we want to go with this career. And for every career, let me also throw it this in here. Please have a tenor. How long are you doing this thing? Right? How long do you want to be in that role? Setting a tenor is so crucial. How long do you want to be in that role? Please have a tenor. Have a tenor for the different phases of your career. Have a tenor. Timelines, time bound. So the process of planning becomes very, therefore, very important. Because again, the goal setting is all about planning. And for planning, we must then clarify what? We must clarify the scope, set clear objectives and deliverables, time, set deadlines, as we have said, cost. Will it cost you something for your career growth? If it's going back to school, you need to go look for the university, look for the college. Even ADMI may be a wonderful place for you to come. Find out how much is the school fees, how long is the course, isn't it? How do I raise this amount? Do they have any form of financing? How do I get into that? Cost. We count that cost. We're told that only a foolish man starts building the house without counting the cost. What will the cost be? One of the costs, I'll tell you, this may not be money, but may be in relationships. Comfort of belonging to the masses. If the minute you begin to stand out, my friend, get ready. That comfort goes, you must now be open to unwarranted and objective criticism. Both of them come. Equal measure. What the cost? Have you counted the cost to go up the ladder? Have you counted the cost? Because there's a cost. Some of it is the comfort of mediocrity. You lose that. Now you must be excellent, leading from the front. Are you ready for that? Some of it may even be wardrobe, isn't it? There's the way you dress at the top, right? And you don't start dressing then. You start dressing where you are now, but in a small way, isn't it? You don't bust the budget either. You begin to discover how you can get some of these things cheaper and still look the part. You prepare for where you want to go. You package yourself for where you want to go. Your LinkedIn should be alive and well. You should be on it. You should know what's there, what's happening, and it should look like where you want to go. Specifications, what quality is expected for the thing you want in your career, whether you're in the gig economy, are you creating for people who are in mass market? Is it high-end, niche market? The specifications will be different. Then if people, we all need people. I don't believe in anything like a self-made man. I always say this, if you are self-made, when you were born, right from birth, you'd have just walked out of the maternity ward and started your life, isn't it? But it needed somebody to clean you up, to feed you. You learn to talk by watching other human beings. So let's humble ourselves. There's nothing like a self-made man or woman. The only thing that is there's some people who had more help than others. So everybody needs somebody. So even for the thing you want to do, who do you need? Who must be involved? Who will be affected by this move you want to make? Because if, for example, the kind of role you want will need you to move to move around a lot, then you would need to ask yourself who will be affected by these decisions I'm making. You need to ask yourself, is my family going to be okay? Those of us who are mothers, for example, or how am I going to take care of my number one job and this other one if I'm moving around? For some mothers, the truth is that your children are grown, you can afford to FaceTime and fly from here to the other. But for some, they need more hands-on. So who will be impacted by this decision of your growth? Think about that. And then risks. Are there risks in this move? A wise man never makes a move that has a risk he cannot mitigate. Just because there's a risk doesn't mean you don't do, but is it a risk you can mitigate? So a wise person will make sure this risk I'm taking, I can actually mitigate it. Now, there are certain questions, if we ask ourselves this question, we will find that we have actually set smart goals. And which questions are this? Number one, I call them the 5 W's and the H. Number one is why. You need to ask yourself the question, why? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why? If you say now your company is going to start bringing microphones from China, why? Is there a need? Have you done your research? But the why can be as simple as passion. The why can be as simple as, I believe this is my purpose. Yeah, this is my passion. My vision is the reason I'm doing it. It can be as simple as that, but also establishing purpose is important. One of my mentors says this, that where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. When the purpose of a thing, be it the purpose of a relationship, the purpose of a job, the purpose of an opportunity, the purpose of a gift, the purpose for money is not known, abuse is inevitable. Some of you may be treating your job so casually, treating it just anyhow, not realizing that this role, they may not be paying you that much, but this role is giving you the foundation block for that big next one that you're going to. Please do not treat your job with levity. It's an opportunity. Let me say something. That thing you're complaining about is somebody else's dream, is somebody else's prayer item. Do not treat your job just like it's nothing to you, because someday it may actually become nothing to you because it won't be there for you. Isn't it? Let us appreciate the particular jobs we have. But remembering there's a purpose for it. In this season of my life, this job, what is it for? It is meeting that, isn't it? Purpose is important. Why am I doing this? So even for the goal setting, why am I setting this goal? Right? And then what? When you ask yourself the question, what, it makes you now set goals that are very specific. What exactly do you want to achieve? What do you want to achieve? This is very, very important. Be clear. Set a goal that you can run with. It should not be ambiguous, as we said. Remember the goal setting framework? And then the other question is who? This who, as I said, is so critical. Everybody needs somebody. Some people need more, others need less, but we all need somebody. And so when you ask the question who, you must ask it in two ways. Number one, who am I doing this for? Who am I doing it for? Let's assume you are an entrepreneur or a freelancer. Who am I doing this thing for? Who is it for? Who will be impacted by what I'm doing? Who is my target audience? Who is my target market? But even when I'm going to work on my CV so I can have a job change or I can have a promotion, who is going to read it? Who is the person I'm targeting it to? Right? If I'm moving from one industry to another, I need to understand the who will be reading this thing. Who is my target audience? Who's my target market? How do they like their things done? But your other who is also who do I need in order to get it done? Who is it I need to partner with, collaborate with? Who do I need to mentor me? What kind of professional collaborations do I need to get into for this thing to happen and work? Who do I need in order to get it done? Research will show you who. If you're not clear on your who, you may be passing them on the street. They tell us your network is your network, but I'll tell you this for a fact. Until you know how to work that network, you will never experience a network within that network. There are things when you're clear what you're looking for, when you're very, very clear on what you want, there are things that will begin to come to you because you begin to know, I need to ask for this. This person can help me with this. If I ask this person for this, they may lead me here. We are told we are 5 people away from the thing that we need. Then the next thing we need to ask ourselves is, where? Where are you going to do the thing you want to do? Where? And the where is manifold. The where can be in your home country, but not in your home county. It can be in your home county for those of us in Nairobi. Doing business in Nairobi or working in Nairobi looks different from working in the other counties. There are different licenses. One of your who, by the way, is government, isn't it? You will need some registration on some licenses for some things you want to do, right? Who do you need? Who do you need? Now, let's bring it for somebody who's just within the workplace. Who do I need to talk to first if I'm going to make this career move? How do I get in touch with them and start this conversation about my career progression and growth? Now, for your where, sometimes it may be it's not in your home country, and it means you need to travel. You must then come again and ask yourself, what are the visa requirements? How do I raise my upkeep for the place I want to go and work? If I want to go and work in a different country, how do I get a work permit? What are the qualifications? I need to set some goals in that area as well. Then I also may need to ask myself, okay, how do I qualify for this visa? What is the cost for it? What is the cost of the air ticket? How much money do I need to have raised in my bank account for me to qualify? So when you are clear on where, it now triggers another set of questions. But I tell people, don't be afraid of questions, because in the planning process, we've said it must go hand in hand with research. But as it goes hand in hand with research, it means research rewards me asking the intelligent questions. And the more questions I will ask, the more answers I will get. And the more answers I will get, guess what? The more progress I will make. So where? Now, for some people, because we're living in the digital economy, the where will be in an online location, a virtual space. So you need to ask yourself, what tools do I need? Which platform has my audience, my target audience? What do I need to go back to school? Do I need to do a course to be able to navigate that particular platform? So your where can also be in an online location. Then, of course, when is the other W. Set timelines for the goals, and we say the importance of that. And finally, your how matters. You can set the best of goals, but if you have not asked yourself the question, how am I going to do this thing? These are the specifications of how you would do it. What is your unique proposition? If you have not gotten to that place, please forget it. It's like going to sleep. I dream I won a Grammy, and I wake up, I'm in my house. I have won nothing. I just had a nice dream. A goal that you cannot tell me how you'll execute is not a smart goal. So I hope we've gotten the 5 W's and H. If you ask these questions, I assure you, you will find you have set goals that are smart. They are specific, they are measurable, they are attainable, they are relevant, and they are time bound. Now, we have an example here. This one I found, and I want us to use it. Somebody says, I want to get a promotion. That is not a SMART goal. Why? Because it is vague and lacks measurable criteria. You want to be promoted. Okay, fine. But when? How? Who do you need to talk to get it? What do you need to do to get it? To which role? Listen to this other one. I want to be promoted to a senior marketing manager position within the next 12 months by leading 3 successful marketing campaigns, improving team efficiency, and completing an advanced leadership course. This person is those people who are called Index 0001, the ones who have passed with flying colors. This one is telling us, I want to be promoted, but I'm also clear on some of the things I will need to do and within which time frame to qualify for my promotion. So I'm not sitting back and leaving it to God. At the beginning of the year, I write on my piece of paper, this year, Lord, promotion, and then I leave it there and wait for God to do it. My mentor says that any faith that leaves everything to God, 100%, all the responsibility to God, is irresponsible faith. Put that in your own faith, whichever one it is. So it's not waiting for my boss to see I deserve a promotion. It is not waiting for a supernatural power to move me into my place. It is me saying, this is the role I want. By when do I want it? Okay, what can I do to qualify me for this particular position? Are we together, everybody? There has to be what you do. And then that thing you do, it needs to be measurable. How will we know you've worked hard at it? Working hard is so broad. So break down, what are these things you have done? This person says, I'll have led 3 marketing campaigns. And what will these campaigns have produced? Efficiency, increased revenue. By the time I'm walking into my boss's office, I am saying, sir, in the last 1 year, I have done A, B, C. I've achieved A, B, C. This now aligns with career progression, and it is time bound. It's within 12 months. So we are not just going to leave this workshop saying, I need to get a promotion. No, I am clear. This is the next role for Chico. These are the qualifications for somebody in that particular role. These are my current qualifications. What do I need to bridge this gap? 1, 2, 3, 4. By when would I have been able to do this? set that goal, because I am also not setting goals from the air. I am doing my research. I hope we are together. So goal setting becomes so important. And as we close now, we must tell ourselves, I want you to be so motivated to go and set these goals. Why? Because when you set these goals, you're going to have some clarity and focus. You will be able to eliminate ambiguity, and you will have clear direction to where you want to go. You will be able to be motivated. Some people never start anything because you have such a huge goal, it just discourages you. But when you break it down into small, biteable chunks, you break down the large objectives into achievable steps, the motivation stays high, isn't it? Then accountability. When you set timelines, when it's measurable, then of course, it will help you to track your progress and stay on track. Finally, we will have some consistent progress. And this will inevitably lead us to career growth, because the SMART goals will help us climb the career ladder and to advance professionally. So, I have laid the foundation today. There is so much we could say and talk about in goal setting. But now I want you to tell me on your part, what is the key thing you're going to do from today? Because there has to be something you're going to do, and, because if we do nothing after today, then nothing is going to change, isn't it? Nothing comes from nothing. We must do something for it to be able to move forward. So what are you going to do from today to ensure that you are moving forward in your career, right? What are you gonna do, right? Can you see something? If it's something personal, then you don't worry, you can inbox me, But if it's something you can share in the chat, you can do that too. What is this thing? What is this thing that you're going to now change? Because something, you gotta do something, isn't it? I hope we're now well positioned to begin planning for 2025. And we are going to actually begin to create time to think about it. One time I was working somewhere, and my group CEO, I was in public relations at the time, and I had an opportunity to interview him. And when I was interviewing him, I asked him, he said one of the things he does is he creates time to think. He said, Shiko, I create time to think, to strategize. Now, in the financial institution I worked in, one of the things we've been told is that at lower levels, you are not paid to think, you're paid to follow procedure. Don't come and tell us, I thought, and then I decided to pay. What does the procedure say? But at the high level, at the C, they are paid to strategize. They are paid to think. Now, you and I, for our lives and our careers, we're the CEOs. We are the ones in strategy level position for our career. We must create time to think, to see what is this thing I can do to move my career from where I am today to where I need to go, right? And then be willing to follow through and be accountable for it. So let me see, what are you taking home with you today? So Kennedy said, okay, let me let you think a bit. All right. Victor, hey, Victor. Goal setting and breaking it down into small biteable chunks. Who else has something? Everybody should have something. Yeah, have you gotten something today? Have you gotten something today? And what is it that you've gotten? Because it is very, very critical for us to be sure that as we move from here, we are actually going to now set some very, very smart goals, isn't it? And you remember, depending on where you're at in your career, there'll be different things that you will need to do. Now, there are some certain obstacles that will come and stand in your way of actually achieving these goals. Because I'll tell you something, I mean, as soon as you set the goal, it's like, the sooner that other things will try to pull away your focus. But don't forget the power of focus. The thing you're focusing on the most will produce the most. So, for example, time management is one of the things. If you don't manage your time well, then of course you won't meet your goals. It can make you be able to, you know, when you manage your time well, it's how you'll be able to prioritize the tasks and the things you decide to do and be able to create time to actually work on your goals, isn't it? All of us are not, nobody here is just doing one thing. We have several things that we have to handle. So if I manage my time well, it releases me to have more time for my personal development goals, for example. Then maybe you will say the challenge I'm having now may be lack of resources. No, listen, there must be somewhere you can start. Hmm? There must be something in your hands you can use to start. And when you get additional training, for example, or mentorship, or with your negotiation skills, you might be surprised to find there's some benefits in your workplace that can even help you finance additional training. Hmm? When you do this, you'll be able to settle the issue of resources. Now, some people have a challenge with getting the motivation to start. That's why we have said break it down into small, manageable steps so that you can start slowly and build the momentum as you go along. But I want to throw this out there before we wind up. Now, we've said life and vision unfolds in phases, and it also evolves over time. So don't be upset if you have to adjust some of your goals, because the more information you're getting, the more experience and light you're getting, the more you're able to now know how this particular goal is supposed to be executed. So be flexible. Remember, we live in a dynamic world. Nothing is static, things can change. So be able to also be limber, be able to be flexible, to be able to adjust your goals accordingly, consistently reevaluate them regularly, and evaluate and then adapt so that you can also be able to make progress. So I want us to end it there. I hope you've gotten something. It really has been such a pleasure for me to be able to talk about this. And somebody here may be saying, okay, now, right, how will I track my progress? Now, we are in a digital world. There's many digital tools. One of the good ones is something like Trello. There are other project management apps you can use that can help you track your goals and your progress. And having an accountability partner is not a bad thing. It could be your mentor, it could be a peer, and sometimes if you have a great supervisor, they could also be the person that you are checking in with from time to time. And once you hit a milestone, even if it's small, learn how to celebrate yourself. Learn how to toot your horn and actually say, I did it, I got it. All right, let me see. Oh, Paul, thank you so much for the session. Got something, though I joined a bit late. Okay. Oh, Modesta, you said when purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. Imagine it is. Ken, target or goal is a key for career. Without goal or target, you reach nowhere. You keep going round in circles, hitting company objectives, but none of your own. Company is announcing big profit, but your own pocket, same as last year. No, shouldn't be so. James, I will be able to set a career goal. I'll break down my goals. I will be able to share my goal with possible partners and accountability partners. Very good. And then I know I need to review my goals, right? Very good. And I need to stay motivated. And you say, thank you for the session. Well, so I want to take a few questions before I go. Are there any questions? Feel free to type in the chat. Any questions you may have. Do we have any questions? We can take one or two before we go, right? Do we have any questions? I could take one or two before we leave. Okay. Is it better to share a goal to is it to a partner? Is this like a business partner or like a spouse? Because I want to say, if you have a good partner, it is very, very good to share with them your goal, because that will introduce accountability. You see, and when there's accountability, it increases your chances of being able to meet that goal. So indeed, it is really good to share the goal with them. I discuss it with them, tell them about it. Now I do have encourage you to have done your research, so that you don't give them a goal that is not smart and then they end up getting disappointed with you. because they'll believe in you. So ensure you've done good research before you actually set back, set up this particular goal. How does one integrate small goals with KPIs? Now, that's a very good one, isn't it? You have your own goals. The organization, if you're working for somebody, the truth is, I mean, they have some goals. That's why they're paying you. Isn't it? There's a reason why they've hired you. And so there's some key performance indicators that are supposed to be there. So, first thing that's important is this goal part of your own big picture? Is this job one of your goals? Because that one, if you're within that goal, it means even you hitting the KPIs are fitting in with your career progression. If you're in a job that really is not fitting into any area of your life, then you need to reevaluate and maybe look for a different one. What do I mean? There are some jobs you will have. Its goal is to finance and take care of you so that you are able to do the thing you love and are passionate about. That is fine. That is that goal. So you need to hit your KPIs and do it well so that you're released to have time to pursue your own personal development goals, right? Now, on the other hand, there is a job where in itself you are thriving, you are growing, you enjoy it. So you hitting your KPIs is still part of your personal development. As you join any organization, it is very important to understand the vision of that company. The reason, for example, I work at ADMI is because I am passionate about training the youth, especially those who are in the creative media industry. As I do my job, I am still hitting a personal goal for me, right? So the vision of the organization aligns with my personal passion, right? So it is important. Now, of course, I'll say this, there is no job without a part you won't enjoy. Not every aspect of your job will be like, ooh, how I enjoy this. No, there's the housekeeping matters. There are the things that you don't enjoy too much, but you do them and you do them so that you can continue to do the thing you love. And such is life, isn't it? So it's important to be very clear on the first, are you in the right place, the right job? If a job drains you to the point where you have nothing left for you, for your loved ones, and also for your own personal development, meaning it's not happening within the job, but this job can't even pay you enough at least to afford to do the personal development goals, or this job drains you so much that you have nothing left for the things you love and the people you love, you need to be polishing your LinkedIn, sharpen your CV, talk to me. Let's talk about how to make sure that CV is ready so that you can look for a new job. You need to move, isn't it? You need to move. Okay, how do we bounce back from unseen circumstances which affect the aspect of time? Now, let me say this. I think all of us had to experience a bit of this after COVID. We had set goals. Let me tell you, I was going for my video shoot for my song. The Saturday, the President Uhuru closed the country on Friday. Of course, when we heard about COVID, hey, I was not going to have people on a set anywhere. Then we were so scared. So I was like, no. So I had to stop. And of course, it has taken a long time to bounce back to that same momentum. And I'll say this, your ability to pick yourself up and readjust, that flexibility is critical in life, that thing of adapting cheerfully. Because even organizations that are not able to adapt to the digital space may have closed down. Because during COVID, at some point, everything was shut down on the outside, we were existing online. So for you, first thing is accepting that when you set these goals, what I've said, that you have to be able to adapt. Because with time is dynamic, life is dynamic. So when you already have the mindset that tells you that, okay, this is how I want to go, and I really want to achieve this thing, and I want to do it this year, I've set the timeline, I've done my research, this is how long it should take. But if something happens, like something you have no control over, is now adapt again within the new circumstance and reset the time. Don't be afraid to reset the timeline, because the thing that has happened, you had no control over. It's an unseen circumstance. You had done all you could do, done your research, done all you could mitigate, but now this particular situation has come up, right? Now, had you prepared very well, one of the things will be, you'll be set back, but not too far back. But I want you to have the humility and the courage to say, you know what, I was not able to do this because of this, but it's still something I want to do, and I'm still going for it. It was going to take me a year. I did 3 months. So we are starting again. Now, 9 months to go. We're going to do it. And communicating and negotiating with all those involved in that process becomes very, very important. How can I stay motivated and on track if I encounter setback with my goals? Now, remember we said we must start with vision. A reminder as to why you're doing that thing is so important. Because if I was not clear why I do the things I do in certain spaces, the truth is that I not do it. Because discouragement sometimes comes, and sometimes from the most unlikely quarters. I've discovered some of the people you've helped the most are the first ones to forget the good you've done for them. Right? Now, if you allow that to discourage you, you will lose focus. So we come back to why are we doing what we're doing? When you're clear about your big picture, remember that goals are just a small practical step to get us to the big dream, the big picture. That space I say so myself in that sisu. I must keep refreshing my vision. That's why having a vision board is very important, right? The vision board is the big picture, but the goal setting now is here. We're getting to work bit by bit, step by step. But from time to time, we need to refresh. Look up to the vision board and let it energize you, encourage you to keep going, right? Remember, people come and go, situations come and go. Don't get discouraged by one person or one situation or one circumstance. Let me say this: life, no season in life is permanent. So even that challenging one will pass. The setback will pass. Refresh the vision and then get back to the goal. Let me see. Any other one? Are there instances or circumstances where one may be unable to attain their SMART goals? Yes. Yes. As you've said, like now, for example, I had a goal to shoot this music video, and then COVID happened. I couldn't do it, isn't it? I had to stay away. But what changed is what? Now my timelines had to readjust. Even for you, that's why flexibility is important. There are circumstances you may not be able to, either because your research wasn't so good, so you put the goal was not smart, or because of unforeseen circumstances. But the bounce back ability becomes now critical, where you reevaluate. The more knowledge you get, the more light you get, the more exposure you get, the more you do your research. There are some goals you'll actually drop, isn't it? And you set some other ones that are smart based on the particular knowledge you have and where you're at that particular situation and time. Okay, any other? I think we've taken all the questions. Wow, thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. It has been a real pleasure for me to be with you. I am so grateful that you were able to stay with me the entire time. So now I'll let you go and set goals for your career. Go and do well. And I wish you all the very best. And we hope the next time we meet again, you will have something to report about progress in your career, in your life, or in any other area. Rachel, thank you so much. Back to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shiko. Asante sana. It was such an inspiring session. Actually, I learned a lot. I was literally taking notes on my key takeaways because personally, I have learned a lot. It was a very nice session and we really appreciate. Thank you so much to our attendees for participation. It was a very lively session and I appreciate